The sound of metal doors sliding open echoed through the cold corridors of the alien medical ship. Bright blue lights lined the ceiling. Strange machines hummed in the background. The air smelled sterile, almost too clean. In the center of the room, a human man, Derek, lay on a glowing bed. His chest rose and fell slowly. Wires were attached to his arms. Small alien tubes pumped some kind of glowing liquid into his veins. Standing behind a thick glass wall, Zyra, an alien diplomat, stared at him with narrowed eyes. Her skin was a smooth light green. Her silver hair fell in waves around her sharp face. She wore a sleek white bodysuit, revealing just enough to distract any man. But she wasn't just beautiful, she was dangerous, powerful, and angry. "He's doing it again," one of the alien doctors whispered. Zyra turned sharply. "What do you mean?" The doctor's face was pale. His 3 eyes blinked nervously. "His readings are rising. Fast. The growth has started again." They looked back at the screen. Inside the glass room, Derek began to move. His eyes shot open. He gasped. The veins in his arms lit up with a glowing green. His body tensed. His muscles bulged. Something inside him was changing. Again. He sat up, confused and in pain. "What is happening to me?" Zyra entered the room, ignoring the doctor's warnings. The glass door hissed as it opened. Derek blinked. "You again?" "You're not safe," she said calmly, standing tall. "You're not stable." "No kidding," Derek groaned. "I woke up with glowing arms and a headache that feels like an alien hammer. And now you're telling me I'm not normal." Zyra crossed her arms. "You touched something you shouldn't have." "The spore." Derek frowned. "That little floating thing on your wrecked ship?" Zyra's face tightened. "It's not little. It's not harmless. It's ancient. And now it's inside you." Derek laughed nervously. "You mean like infected?" "No," Zyra said coldly. "Chosen." That word hung in the air. Derek rubbed his face. "Okay, that's worse." Behind her, the doctors began shouting again. Readings spiked. The machine beeped wildly. "He's going to burst if we don't stop it," one yelled. Zyra didn't move. Her voice dropped low, almost a whisper. "No. Enough. It keeps growing. Please cure him." The doctors stared at her. "She's begging for a human," one mumbled. But Zyra didn't care. She had seen it herself. No alien body had survived this infection. Only this human. Somehow, his body adapted. Absorbed it. Used it. Derek looked up at her. You're not just here to poke me with needles, are you?" Zyra's lip curled. "You're the most annoying species I've ever met. Loud. Messy. Arrogant. But..." She paused, stepping closer. Her hand reached for his cheek, but stopped just short. "You might be the last hope we have." Derek's eyes met hers. That's a lot of pressure for a guy who just wanted to fix a radio. Zyra actually smiled. Typical human. Always joking when death is near. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The machines crackled. Derek's body glowed again. This time brighter. "Zyra," he said softly. "Something's happening. I can feel it." The doctors ran forward. "Get back. He's destabilizing." Zyra reached out and grabbed his hand. Then, silence. Everything stopped. The lights froze. The glow disappeared. Derek blinked. "You touch me." Zyra didn't reply. He smirked. "Didn't think aliens liked skin contact." "I don't," she said quickly. But she didn't let go. He raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" She finally pulled her hand away. Get dressed. We're leaving. Where? Somewhere private. He chuckled. Now we're talking. Zyra rolled her eyes. You're not special, human. You're a weapon. And I plan to use you. Derek grinned. You say the sweetest things. Behind them, the glass doors closed. The doctors looked on, confused and nervous. One whispered to the others. She's hiding something. Why him? Why take him alone? The other replied, because whatever is growing inside him may be the only thing left that can fight what's coming. As Zyra and Derek stepped aboard her private ship, far from the alien council's eyes, the real journey began. And neither of them were ready for what would happen next. The stars outside the ship shimmered like frozen fire. Inside the cockpit, Zyra sat alone, hands gripping the control orb. Her silver hair glowed under the pale blue lighting. Her green skin was smooth, but her jaw was tight. Behind her, Derek was strapped into a soft recliner seat, looking very out of place in an alien star cruiser. He was wearing a white robe, alien-made, a bit too short, a bit too tight. I feel like I'm in a space spa, he muttered. Where's the cucumber water? Zyra didn't answer. She was thinking, hard. She had just lied to her government. Told them she'd escort the human to a quarantine zone and leave him there to be studied. Watched. Forgotten. But she didn't. She took him away. Because deep inside, she knew the truth, this human wasn't just infected, he was becoming something. And it terrified her. And excited her. Why did you bring me with you? Derek asked, leaning back with a smirk. Just couldn't get enough of my charming personality. She shot him a look. You're loud. You smell strange. You break every machine you touch. But he leaned in closer, you still brought me. Zyra stood and walked toward him slowly. The ship's lights dimmed as if the walls themselves could feel the tension. She stopped just inches from him. I brought you, she said in a low voice, because if the wrong people find out what's inside you, they'll cut you open before asking a single question. Derek blinked. Oh. She leaned closer. And because what's growing in you, it might be the cure to something much worse. He tilted his head. Worse than alien spores lighting up my bloodstream. Zyra didn't smile. Much worse. She returned to the controls. Outside the ship, stars bent and twisted, they were entering warp. As the engine screamed and reality blurred, Derek's body suddenly tensed. The glow came back. Veins across his arms pulsed. His eyes shone for a second, like green fire. Zyra turned. It's happening again. He gritted his teeth. It burns, it's like something wants out. Zyra opened a side panel and pulled out a sealed injector. She pressed it into his arm without hesitation. His body calmed. The glow faded. Silence. That won't last long, she whispered. What was that? He asked. She looked at the empty injector. A suppressant. It keeps the spores quiet, for now. Derek looked down at his hands. You didn't even flinch. You've done this before. Zyra stared at him. You think you're the first experiment. She walked toward the cargo bay, and Derek followed. Inside, she opened a locked chamber. Rows of cryopods. Bodies. Not human. Not alive. They all failed, she said softly. Derek felt a chill crawl up his spine. Zyra pointed to one pod. A creature with grey skin, sunken eyes, and burst veins lay inside. This one lasted 2 days. Then the growth exploded from his body. We had to burn the ship. Derek swallowed. Why am I still alive? Zyra turned to him. Because the spores like you. He stepped back. That's not comforting. She stepped closer. You're not like the others. You didn't resist. You adapted. You grew. Derek raised an eyebrow. Grew? Like metaphorically. Zyra glanced down at his arms. Not just metaphorically. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. An alarm blared. Zyra dashed to the console. We're being followed. Derek looked confused. By who? Zyra's voice dropped. The Galactic enforcement. Someone reported us. They think I've gone rogue. Derek grinned. Well, have you? Zyra smirked without looking at him. Definitely. She hit a button. The ship dove into a nearby asteroid field. Lasers fired. Explosions lit the black sky. Zyra flew like a beast. Fast. Sharp. Fearless. Derek held onto the seat, his body trembling. Not from fear, from power. He could feel it inside again. Rising. Glowing. Growing. As the last missile missed them and the ship disappeared behind a shattered moon, Zyra finally breathed out. She turned toward him. Next time, don't touch anything without asking. He raised his hands. I didn't touch anything this time. The glow in his chest pulsed. She stared. Then she said something he didn't expect. From now on, you sleep in my quarters. Derek blinked. Wait. What? Zyra walked past him, her tone dry and teasing. Because if you explode, I want to be the first to see it. He grinned. She's falling for me, he whispered to himself. Behind him, Zyra's voice echoed. I heard that, human. The room was dark. Quiet. Zyra's ship floated silently through deep space, hiding behind the shadow of a shattered moon. No signals. No trace. Just stars blinking like ancient eyes watching from afar. Inside the ship, the air was still, except for one thing. Derek wasn't sleeping. He was glowing again. Faint green light pulsed under his skin as he sat on the edge of Zyra's bed, breathing hard. His hands were shaking. Not from fear, but from whatever was now living inside him. He could feel it. It wanted something. He looked around the room. Silver walls. Alien shelves. A few strange books and devices. Zyra's white uniform hung from a hook like a warning sign. She wasn't here right now. And that was the problem. Because Derek couldn't stop thinking about the vial. The one Zyra had shown him earlier, the glowing alien spore sealed behind a glass tube, locked in a black case. She told him not to touch it. Don't touch that, she'd said. It'll grow worse. So, of course. Derek was thinking about touching it. Curiosity, he whispered to himself, is going to kill this human. But he got up anyway. The cargo bay lights flickered to life as he entered. Shadows danced across the floor. The ship hummed, almost like it was watching him. The black case stood alone, resting on a stone pedestal surrounded by scanners. He stared at it. 1 step closer. 2. 3. The glow inside the vial pulsed. Almost like it could see him. Derek hesitated. Okay, just a peek. He touched the case. The lock clicked open. The lid hissed as it lifted itself, like it was breathing. Inside, the vial sat, spinning slowly in midair, floating inside a magnetic field. A small voice whispered in his mind. Not words, more like an urge. Touch me. He reached out. And just before his fingers touched the glass. Derek! Zyra's voice exploded through the room. He jumped, turning around. She was standing at the door, furious, glowing eyes wide with rage and fear. I told you not to touch that. He raised his hands. I didn't. I was just looking. Looking, she growled, stepping forward, is how your species always dies first. Zyra pressed a button, and the case slammed shut with a loud bang. She grabbed his arm. You don't understand what you are. Derek pulled back. Then explain it. They stood there, silent, the tension thick. Zyra's breathing slowed. She looked at him, not with anger this time, but something deeper. She stepped closer. You're not just carrying the spores, she said quietly. You're merging with them. Becoming something new. He frowned. So I'm not human anymore? She shook her head. You're more. And that scares people. Derek sat down. Well, it scares me too. Zyra looked at him for a long moment. Then, without a word, she sat beside him. The room was quiet again. Except for the glow. Her voice softened. The spores react to emotion. Strong feelings. Anger. Fear. Lust. They feed on it. Derek laughed nervously. So if I get excited, I glow. Zyra didn't smile. Sometimes you explode. He blinked. Oh. She turned toward him. That vial you touched, it wasn't just spores. It was a living fragment of their queen. Derek froze. There's a queen. Zyra nodded. A hive mind. Billions of years old. Lost in a war we barely understand. That fragment is what infected you. And it's inside me. Derek asked. Zyra leaned closer. Sleeping. But the more you touch things, the more you wake it. He swallowed. And what happens when she wakes up? Zyra whispered, she will want her body back, and she might take yours. Silence. Derek looked down at his hands. Then up at her. And you're still keeping me alive, why? Zyra's green eyes met his. Because even if she wakes up, I think you'll be strong enough to fight her. He smirked. Or she might fall for my charm. Zyra rolled her eyes. Your charm is a weapon of mass destruction. Derek laughed, but inside, he was scared. Scared of what was coming. Scared of what he was becoming. And scared because the spores weren't quiet anymore. They were whispering again. Not just a voice now. But images. Visions of other worlds. Destroyed. Burned. And one word repeated again and again inside his mind. Grow. The silence inside the ship was heavy. Like something alive was holding its breath. Derek sat alone in the medical bay, staring at his hands. They weren't normal anymore. His skin looked smoother. Stronger. The veins under it glowed faint green, pulsing like an engine warming up. He didn't feel sick. He didn't feel better, either. He felt different. Like something was watching him from inside his own body. Across the room, Zyra entered quietly, carrying a silver data tablet. She looked tired. And afraid. Your vitals are stable, she said flatly. But something's changed. Derek tilted his head. I thought you said you cured me. Zyra didn't answer right away. She stared at the screen. I did, she said finally. We injected the suppressant. It removed the parasite, but not the change. Derek stood slowly. What does that mean? Zyra looked up. Her eyes softened, just for a moment. It means the cure came too late. Derek walked toward her. You said the spores chose me. They did, she replied. And now, your body has learned how to grow without them. He blinked. So I'm, what? A walking science experiment. No, Zyra said. You're something we don't have a name for. Her voice was calm, but her fingers were shaking. Derek reached out and gently took her hand. You're scared of me now? Zyra didn't pull away. I'm scared for you. Derek smirked. Wow. You aliens do have feelings. She looked at him. We just hide them better. She turned to the screen and brought up an image. A 3D model of Derek's body rotated slowly, glowing green lines lighting up his nervous system. "You're no longer infected," Zyra said. "But you're still glowing. Still adapting." "To what?" She stepped closer. "To something ancient. Something powerful." Derek's chest pulsed again, a soft green light flashing under his skin. Suddenly, he groaned. "It's happening again." He dropped to his knees. Zyra rushed to him, holding his shoulders. "What do you feel?" she asked. "It's not pain," he breathed. "It's like my brain is opening. I can hear something. See things. Worlds. Memories that aren't mine." Zyra whispered, "The spores left a trace. A signal. It's rewriting you." Derek looked up at her, his voice shaking. "Zyra, am I still human?" She hesitated. "I don't know." The words hit like a bullet. He stood slowly, breathing hard. "I didn't ask for this," he said quietly. Zyra nodded. "No one asks to be chosen." They stood there for a long moment. Then Zyra spoke again, softer now. "I studied your DNA while you slept. You're mutating, but not randomly. Your cells are optimizing." "For what?" She whispered, "Survival. Maybe more." Derek sat on the bed again, silent. He looked lost. Zyra walked over and sat beside him. Their shoulders touched. "You're still you," she said. "You still make stupid jokes. Still ask too many questions. Still talk during serious moments." Derek laughed a little. "But you're also becoming something this galaxy has never seen." He turned to her. "And what if I lose myself?" Zyra met his eyes. "Then I'll be the one to remind you." The tension hung between them, raw, real. Then suddenly, beep beep beep. An alarm blared. Zyra jumped up. "What now?" Derek asked. She ran to the console. A warning glowed on the screen. "Spore signal detected. External source. Unknown origin." She turned toward him. "It's not from you." Derek stood. "Then where?" Boom. The ship shook violently. Lights flickered. Sparks flew. Zyra shouted, "Brace for impact." A massive shadow passed over the window, like something enormous just blinked into orbit. Derek stared out. A huge alien ship hovered outside. Black. Spiked. Breathing. Zyra's face went pale. "No, it can't be." "What is that?" Derek asked. Zyra's voice was a whisper. "The Hive Queen." Derek blinked. "I thought she was dead." Zyra whispered again. "She was. Until you woke her up." Space was no longer silent. It groaned. It screamed. The Hive Queen's ship, an ancient, black, bone-like fortress, hovered above Zyra's cruiser like a shadow of death. Long claws extended from its hull. It didn't fire. It didn't move. It simply watched. Inside the ship, Derek stood frozen, staring out the glass window, his fists clenched. "I woke her," he whispered. Zyra nodded, slowly backing away from the console. "Yes. You did." Derek looked at her. "What does she want?" Zyra didn't answer. Not at first. Then she said, "You." His chest glowed faintly. The Queen must have felt it, that same signal buried inside him. The one he couldn't silence. Zyra pressed a panel. A hidden drawer slid open, revealing a silver blade. Derek raised an eyebrow. "Planning to stab me?" She didn't answer. Instead, she walked forward, pressed the blade gently to his palm, and cut just enough to draw blood. Green light shimmered from the wound. His blood wasn't red anymore. Derek flinched. "I'm really not human now, am I?" Zyra wrapped his hand quickly. You are. But your body holds something more. She paused, looking into his eyes. Your body can save my world, or destroy it. Derek pulled back. You keep saying that like it's my choice. Zyra's voice turned sharp. It is. She tapped on the console again. The ship suddenly shifted direction, fast. Where are we going? Derek asked. Zyra didn't look at him. My planet. Vireth Prime. You're taking me to your home. I'm breaking every law of the Galactic Council to do it, she said. But if the Queen follows us, we may not have a home left to protect. Derek sat down, holding his glowing hand. What happens when we get there? Zyra turned. I show them what you are. I beg them to help. Or I fight them to let you try. He looked at her. Why are you doing this? She hesitated. For the first time since he met her, she looked unsure. Because I've seen what happens when we lose hope, she said. And I've never seen anything grow like you. He chuckled. That sounded weird. She raised an eyebrow. You are weird. He stood up, stepped closer. But you like weird now, don't you? She didn't reply. But she didn't step away, either. The ship burst through a warp tunnel. Vireth Prime appeared on the screen, a glowing planet of floating cities and crystal towers. Derek whistled. Okay, that's prettier than Earth. Zyra tightened her jaw. Don't get used to it. The ship was immediately intercepted. A group of 5 alien fighters surrounded them. Messages lit up the screen. Illegal entry. Power down. Prepare for boarding. Zyra hit a switch. The ship cloaked instantly. Zyra, Derek said, that sounds like treason. She looked at him. You've infected me with your Earth logic. He grinned. What sarcasm and reckless behavior. The ship dove under the clouds and into the heart of a crystal forest. Zyra landed it near a mountain cave hidden by thick fog. They stepped outside. The air was cool. The ground glowed faintly under their boots. Where are we? Derek asked. My mother's house, Zyra said. Derek blinked. Your mom lives in a cave. Zyra smiled faintly. She used to be a biologist. Before the wars. Inside the cave, the walls were lined with ancient tech, glowing eggs, and strange, preserved spore samples. A voice echoed from the back. You brought him, didn't you? Zyra's mother stepped forward. She was taller, older, and her eyes were even sharper. Her eyes landed on Derek. Her face froze. He's the one. The Queen's seed lives in him. Derek raised a hand awkwardly. Hi. I glow when nervous. The older alien stepped closer, her expression unreadable. Zyra said quickly, we think his body evolved. He might be able to resist her. Maybe even stop her. Her mother frowned. Or he's her final messenger. Derek looked at both of them. Guys? I'm right here. Zyra stepped beside him. We're going to try. That's all we have left. Suddenly, the ground shook. Outside, the sky cracked. The Hive Queen had followed. The final warning had arrived. Zyra grabbed Derek's hand, pulled him close. Ready or not, human, this is your fight now. Everything was too quiet. No birds. No wind. No time. Just the sound of breathing, and it wasn't all his. Derek stood in the middle of Zyra's mother's lab, gripping the edge of a steel table, knuckles white. He was sweating. Glowing. His skin pulsed with green veins like roots crawling beneath the surface. His jaw clenched. It was happening again. But this time, it was different. The glow wasn't just light. It had weight. Thought. A presence. Zyra entered the room, paused at the doorway. You're hot, she said. Derek turned his head. Thanks, I try. I meant your temperature. It's spiking again. Oh, he muttered, thanks. She walked closer, scanning him with a small device. Something's waking up, she said. Derek locked eyes with her. It already has. He staggered back, grabbing his head. And then, the voice came. Louder. Clearer. Female. Ancient. You are mine now, Derek. He froze. You invited me in. And I grew. And I will not leave. Zyra stepped back. Derek, who are you talking to? He looked at her with wide eyes. She's talking to me, he whispered. Who? He pointed at his own chest. The Queen. Zyra's blood ran cold. Suddenly, Derek dropped to his knees, gasping. His arms glowed bright, too bright. Like they might burn through his skin. Zyra rushed forward. Stay with me. But Derek was far away now. Inside his mind. In a strange white room. Floating. Alone, except for her. A tall figure made of shadows and light stood in front of him. Not fully real. Not fully imagined. Eyes like black suns. A voice that echoed inside his bones. You carried me. You protected me. You let me grow. Derek shouted back, I didn't choose you. You didn't resist me. That is the same. She stepped closer, glowing. I was once a queen. Now I am reborn. In you. Why me? He asked. Why not one of them? Because they feared me. But you were curious. Derek felt the truth hit him hard. She was right. He touched the vial. He asked the questions. He opened the door. But he wasn't giving up. Back in the lab, his body twitched. Zyra held his face, whispering. Derek, listen to me. You're stronger than her. Inside the mind space, Derek looked the Queen in the eye. I'm not your slave, he said. You are my body. No, he growled. I'm still human. Not for long. Suddenly, everything cracked. The white space shattered like glass. And Derek opened his eyes. His skin was still glowing, but he was in control. Zyra blinked. You're back. He stood, slowly. Chest rising. Arms shining. But his eyes, they were different now. Sharper. Brighter. Deeper. Zyra stared. What did she say? Derek didn't blink. She thinks I'm her second chance. And you? I think she picked the wrong guy. Zyra stepped forward, slowly. Are you still you? He smiled, tired, but real. Mostly. She reached for his hand. He didn't pull away. Their fingers touched. Her green skin against his now glowing palm. Your body's stabilizing, she whispered. That shouldn't be possible. He smirked. I break the rules. She leaned closer. You really do. Their lips nearly met. Boom. The cave shook. Lights flickered. Zyra's mother burst in. They found us. Zyra pulled back fast. Who? Her mother's eyes were full of fear. Council agents. Armed. And they brought a hive fragment. It's trying to sync with him. Derek stood tall. They're trying to activate her again. Zyra turned to him. Can you fight it? He looked at her. I'm done running. The sky over Vereth Prime was bleeding green. Alien ships screamed through the air like burning arrows. The Hive Queen signal had reached full strength. Every infected creature for 100 systems was now marching toward Zyra's homeworld. The Council had fled. The armies had fallen. All that stood between extinction and survival was Derek. And he was glowing like a star on fire. He stood on the edge of the crystal mountain, Zyra beside him. Her hair whipped in the wind, silver like lightning. Her eyes full of fear, full of faith. "You don't have to do this," she said softly. He smiled. "I think I already did." Zyra's mother stood behind them, holding a device glowing with ancient symbols. "If you step into the amplifier," she said, "you'll become more than what you are. But the spores, the queen, they'll merge with you completely." Derek nodded. "And if I don't?" "The hive will consume this planet. Her children will awaken. Billions more." He looked out at the chaos below. Then down at his hands. Still his hands. Still his choice. Inside his mind, the queen whispered, "Accept me. Become more. Live forever." He whispered back, "No. Not unless I get to be me. You're weak. I'm human. Then you'll die." Derek smiled to himself. "We all do." He turned to Zyra. "What if I lose myself?" She stepped forward. "I'll find you." Their eyes locked. For one last time. She reached up, touched his cheek. "I didn't bring you here to save us," she said. "I brought you here because you reminded me what hope feels like." He leaned in. She kissed him. Not out of fear. Out of truth. "I'm ready," he said. Zyra's mother activated the amplifier. The wind screamed. The rocks shook. A tower of green energy surged into the sky. Derek stepped in. And burned. Inside the core, time broke apart. Memories, futures, stars, species, they all swirled around him. He saw his own life. His failures. His jokes. His loneliness. He saw Zyra laughing on a quiet balcony. He saw the queen, screaming as her empire fell. He saw himself, as both. And then he made the choice. Outside, the Hive Queen's army reached the mountain. Zyra stood alone now, holding a blade. Ready to die. But the sky turned white. Then, gold. A shockwave of pure human defiance exploded from the tower. The Hive army stopped moving. They screamed. And dissolved into ash. The Queen's ship cracked open like an egg, green fire pouring out as her signal collapsed. Then silence. The wind returned. The light faded. Zyra opened her eyes. And saw him. Derek walked out of the smoke. Alive. But changed. His skin no longer glowed. His eyes were human again. But behind them was a storm. "You did it," she whispered. He shook his head. "We did." She ran to him, wrapped her arms around him. He held her tight. "I didn't cure it," he said softly. "I just made a choice." She looked up. To stay human. He grinned. To be something better. Later. Zyra and Derek stood at the top of the mountain, watching the sunset. The council would rebuild. The hive was broken. The war was over. But a new question remained. What is he now? A man? A weapon? A god? Derek put his arm around Zyra's shoulders. "I'm whatever I want to be," he said. She smirked. Typical human. He kissed her forehead. "Yeah. But you like it."